Hey, before we start, if you're enjoying this journey, hit that like button and subscribe. I'm genuinely curious where and when you're listening from. Maybe it's a rainy evening somewhere cool, or maybe you're escaping the heat, because right now you're stepping into something intense. The year is 2047. You wake up to silence. Not peaceful silence, but the kind that presses against your eardrums like static. The air smells wrong, sweet and thick with something rotting underneath. It clings to the back of your throat before you even open your eyes. When you do, everything's muted. Like someone turned down the saturation on reality. Like someone turned down the saturation on reality. You sit up too fast, head swimming. Your apartment is dark, but not because it's night. The power's out. You reach for your phone, fumble with the cracked screen. No signal. Just a blinking red dot where the battery should be. That's when you hear it, a wet, dragging sound from down the hall. Not human. You don't think. You move. Throwing yourself off the couch, scrambling for anything that feels solid in your hands. A heavy glass ashtray. It's cold and unbalanced, but better than nothing. The hallway is darker now, shadows stretching like fingers. You can smell it closer. Decay mixed with something metallic. The first one comes into view at the end of the hall. Not running, not screaming, just moving. A jerky, unnatural gait that makes your stomach clench. Its skin is gray and peeling, eyes milky white. It doesn't register you yet, just keeps coming forward, head lolling to the side. The impact feels wrong, too soft, like hitting wet clay. It staggers but doesn't fall. That's when it turns its head and see you. Mew. A low growl rumbles in its chest, and then it lunges. You feel teeth sink into your forearm before adrenaline kicks in. Pain explodes, hot and searing. You kick out blindly, connecting with something soft under the ribs. It buys you a second to scramble back, clutching your arm. Blood wells up between your fingers, warm and sticky. The thing is still coming, slower now, but relentless. You realize then, this isn't about fighting. This is about surviving long enough to find somewhere else to be. You don't look at the bite again. Just push yourself up, ignoring the throbbing in your arm. Every breath feels ragged and shallow. The silence is broken now, replaced by a chorus of distant screams from outside. You have no idea what's happening out there, but you know one thing: staying here means dying. You stumble towards the fire escape, already tasting copper in your mouth. This isn't some movie where you get to be the hero. It's just the first bite, and it changes everything. The air tastes like wet metal and something else, something rotting under the sun. You pull your scarf tighter, not for warmth, but to filter out the smell. It clings to everything now. Every breath is a reminder of what's gone. The buildings are hollowed out teeth and a broken jawline. You move between them like a rat searching for crumbs. Not since it didn't matter anymore. Sound just attracts attention. You scan the rubble of what was once a grocery store. Canned goods are long gone, stripped bare weeks ago. Now you're looking for anything. Dried beans, half-rotted fruit, even the dregs in discarded bottles. Hunger isn't sharp pain. It's a dull ache that settles into your bones. A flicker of movement catches your eye. Not one of them. A kid, maybe 8 or 9, digging through a pile of debris with bare hands. Skinny arms, ribs showing under torn clothes. You watch him for a moment, then look away. There's nothing to share. Nothing left to give. The weight in your pack feels heavier than it is. Every can, every scrap of food is measured against the days you have left. You find a half-eaten box of crackers under a collapsed shelf. Mold blooms across them like black veins. But you don't hesitate. You scrape off what you can and eat slowly, savoring the stale sweetness. The kid watches from a distance, his eyes hollowed out with need. He doesn't approach. He knows better. Everyone does. The sun dips lower, painting the sky in bruised purples and oranges. Another day survived. But survival isn't winning. It's just delaying the inevitable. You find a relatively clean corner of a building to sleep in, curling up against the cold concrete. The silence is worse than any scream. It's the sound of everything lost, of everyone gone. You close your eyes and see faces, people you knew before, their voices fading like static on a broken radio. You try not to think about them. Thinking just makes it harder to breathe, harder to keep moving. The rot isn't just in the food, it's inside you now too. A slow decay of hope, of memory, of everything that made you, you. You wake before dawn, stiff and aching. Another day begins the same way, scavenging, searching, pretending there's still something worth finding. But deep down, you know better. You just keep walking because stopping means letting go. And letting go feels too much like giving up. The metal gate groans as it slides open, a sound that scrapes against your teeth even before the guard's eyes meet yours. You feel the weight of his gaze, not checking for infection, but measuring you, assessing if you're worth the rationed space inside. The air shifts, stale recycled oxygen mixed with something else. Fear, maybe? Or just the lingering scent of disinfectant trying to mask rot. You walk through, shoulders tight, avoiding eye contact. Every step echoes on the concrete floor, a rhythm that feels too loud in this forced quiet. People watch you pass, some with hollow indifference, others with open suspicion. A child clutches her mother's hand, staring at your boots like they might carry something contagious. You don't blame them. Not anymore. The safe zone isn't safe, it's just contained. Walls built high enough to keep out the shamblers also trap everyone inside with their own desperation. Food is handed out in measured portions, each bite a reminder of how little there is left. You see the way people hoard scraps under tables, behind crates, small rebellions against the inevitable hunger. You find an empty corner and sit, back pressed against cold steel. A man nearby sharpens a knife on a piece of concrete, his movements slow and deliberate. He doesn't look at you, but you feel him watching from the periphery. Everyone here is armed, even if it's just with broken glass or sharpened spoons. Trust has become a luxury no one can afford. The worst part isn't the lack of comfort, it's the realization that this fortress, it doesn't protect you from the dead. It protects you with the living, by turning them into something just as dangerous. You see it in their eyes, the same hollow hunger only redirected inward. The walls keep out monsters, but they also... You close your eyes for a moment, trying to like before the scream started, before every shadow held a threat. It's gone now. All that's left is this slow decay inside thicker walls. You open your eyes again and look at the man sharpening his knife. He finally meets your gaze, a flicker of something unreadable in his expression. Maybe it's just hunger, or maybe it's something worse. The sun sets outside, casting long shadows across the courtyard. The gate clangs shut for the night, sealing everyone inside with their own ghosts. You wonder if you'll still recognize yourself by morning. The sun feels like a brand on your neck, even through the rags you've wrapped around it. You taste dust with every breath, gritty and metallic. It coats your teeth, settles in the back of your throat. The asphalt shimmers ahead, buckling under the heat, another mirage promising water that isn't there. Days blur into one long ache, legs burning, stomach twisting, eyes scanning for movement. Not just the shamblers, but anyone else still walking this road. You see them sometimes, figures in the distance, moving like ghosts. You don't approach. Not anymore. The last time you did, they took what little you had left and left you with a broken rib. Now, you keep your head down, focus on putting one foot in front of the other. Each step is a small victory against exhaustion, against despair. The sky is bleached white, no clouds offering even a sliver of relief. You pass skeletal trees, their branches clawing at nothing. The air smells like rot and gasoline, a cocktail that clings to your nostrils. A crow lands on a rusted car hood, watching you with cold indifference. It doesn't judge, it just waits. You find an abandoned gas station, the pumps long dry. Inside, shelves are stripped bare except for a single can of peaches, dented and leaking. You hesitate. The sweetness feels like a betrayal, a luxury you haven't allowed yourself in weeks. But your body screams for something other than ash and grit. You pry it open with a shard of glass, the syrupy smell almost overwhelming. The metal bites into your fingers as you eat, slow and deliberate. It doesn't fill you, but it dulls the edge of hunger. For a moment, just a moment, you forget where you are, what you're running from. Then the sun shifts, casting long shadows, and reality crashes back in. You keep walking south. The horizon never changes. Just more heat, more dust, more ghosts. You don't know what you're hoping to find anymore. Maybe just a place where the sky doesn't feel like it's trying to kill you. Or maybe nothing at all. It almost feels easier that way. The road stretches on forever. The sun sets in fire and then rises again, indifferent to your suffering. You are just another shadow moving across a scorched earth. And the only thing left is to keep walking until there's nowhere else to go. The smell hits you first, burnt sugar and something else, something thick and metallic that clings to the back of your throat. You don't recognize it until you see the flies buzzing around a small hand, still clutching a half-eaten lollipop. The kid was maybe 6, 7, doesn't matter now. What matters is the way his mother stares at you, eyes hollowed out like empty sockets in a skull. She doesn't scream, she just offers you the other half of the candy. You take it because refusing would mean something worse. You've learned that much already. The world isn't about right or wrong anymore. It's about what keeps you breathing for another hour, another day. This woman, she understands. She's been doing this longer than you have. Her fingers are calloused from digging graves. Her lips cracked from screaming into the wind. The settlement is built inside a gutted school bus depot. Makeshift walls of corrugated metal and scavenged wood barely keep out the rain, let alone anything else. Children run between the rusted hulks of buses, their faces smeared with dirt and something darker. They don't play. They hunt for scraps, for anything edible before the rats get to it first. You watch one little girl, no older than 5, methodically cracking open a bird skull with a rock. She doesn't flinch, doesn't even look up when you pass. You trade her half your water ration for a handful of dried grubs. It's disgusting, but protein is currency now. You chew slowly, forcing it down while the girl watches, her expression unreadable. There are no tears here, no tantrums, just cold, hard survival. The adults, they've broken something inside these kids already. Or maybe nothing was ever there to break in the first place. The leader of this place, a man named Silas, calls it hardening. He says weakness gets you killed. You see him later teaching a group of boys how to strip flesh from bone using shards of glass. The youngest one vomits, but Silas just kicks him and tells him to try again. No room for softness here, only teeth and claws. You find yourself thinking about your own little sister back home before everything fell apart, before you had to choose between letting her starve or doing things you can't unsee. You swallow the last of the grubs, tasting ash in your mouth. There are no good choices left, only degrees of bad. The sun sets blood red over the horizon. The children gather around a fire made from scavenged tires, their faces illuminated by flickering shadows. They don't sing or laugh. They just stare into the flames like they're already ghosts. You realize then that this isn't about surviving anymore. It's about becoming something else entirely, something hollowed out and brutalized beyond recognition. And you wonder if there will ever be a way back from this, or if you are already too far gone. The dust tastes like regret, coating your tongue with the grit of what was. You walk through what used to be a library. Books lie open, pages brittle and yellowed, as if frozen mid-read when everything ended. Sunlight filters through shattered windows, illuminating floating particles that dance in the silence. It's not quiet, though. It's the absence of life that screams loudest. You run your hand along a mahogany desk, smooth under layers of decay. Someone sat here once, maybe grading papers, writing letters, dreaming about something ordinary. Now, just splinters and the faint scent of old paper. You find a half-finished chess game on another table. White has just moved its queen. A ghost move in a dead world. You push deeper into the ruins, past collapsed bookshelves and overturned chairs. The air grows colder, heavier with the weight of forgotten stories. There's no scavenging here, not really, just remnants. You see graffiti on one wall, "Hope dies last." Someone wrote it before they didn't survive long enough to prove it wrong. You find a child's drawing tucked under a broken floorboard. Crayons faded but still visible. A stick figure family holding hands beneath a bright yellow sun. The contrast is brutal, the innocence mocking the reality you live in now. You don't pick it up. Some things are better left buried. The moral decay isn't just in the rotting buildings or the corpses that linger at the edges of your vision. It's inside you too. How many times have you walked past someone dying, knowing help wasn't coming? How many choices did you make where survival meant letting another person fall? You don't count anymore. The tally is just another weight to carry. You keep moving, not toward anything specific, but away from the ghosts that cling to these walls. Each step echoes in the emptiness, a reminder that even ruins remember better than you do. Maybe rebuilding isn't about structures. Maybe it's about forgetting enough to live with what remains. Or maybe there's nothing left to rebuild at all. The sun feels different now, doesn't it? Not the burning rage of before, but muted, like looking through dirty glass. You stand on what was once a highway overpass, concrete crumbling under your boots, and watch people below. They're not scavenging anymore, they're building. Rough-hewn walls going up around salvaged metal frames, smoke curling from makeshift chimneys. It's slow, clumsy work, but it's happening. You remember the first weeks, the blind panic, the desperate sprints for canned food, the bodies left where they fell. You were just trying to survive then, weren't you? Every sunrise was a gamble. Every shadow held teeth and claws. Now there are children playing in the dust between half-finished structures. They don't know what it means to ration water or sleep with one ear open for moans. You see a man hammering at a warped sheet of corrugated iron, sweat plastering his shirt to his back. He glances up, catches your eye, and doesn't flinch. Just nods, a slow, tired movement. No suspicion, no hostility. It's unsettling. You spent so long bracing for betrayal that this quiet acceptance feels almost worse. The air smells of wood smoke and something else, hope. Maybe it's just the absence of rot finally letting something clean through. But you feel a pull, a strange reluctance to turn away, to keep moving. Because if you do, what are you even running from anymore? You touch the worn leather grip of your knife, still strapped to your thigh. Old habits die hard. You could walk into that settlement, offer help, or just take what they have. The choice is there, isn't it? Always has been. But this time, for the first time in a long time, you hesitate. It's not pretty, not safe, just something. A flicker of defiance against everything that tried to erase them. And maybe, just maybe, it's enough. Maybe surviving wasn't about escaping what we fought. Maybe it was about deciding what we became after. You look at your hands, calloused and stained with old blood. They could still kill, but they could also build. The weight of that choice settles on you like the dust in the air,